The very best thing that social networks ever did was adopt the name social network. We like the idea of being social. We like the idea of networking. It sounds so productive and positive. But just how social are social networks? It's been said that Facebook is who you knew and Twitter and Instagram is who you want to know. The question not being asked is, who do you actually know?
It's true.
What if your social networks are slowly but surely sucking the social right out of your life? So many people have hundreds of friends, but they're alone. Hundreds of followers, but no one to talk to. And for many, especially our young, their self-esteem can be directly correlated to how many recent clicks, likes, and comments they've acquired. And please note that I said recent, because sadly that high from yesterday's social stats has already faded, and the false worth they provided has already evaporated to zero. Several years ago, I connected with a childhood friend online, and he mentioned, I just figured out this Facebook thing and I haven't talked to my wife in 7 days. We shared a good laugh, but unfortunately there's too much truth to the punchline. So often we're ignoring the people right next to us and trading that valuable personal interaction for clickbait headlines, meaningless data, or the latest viral video, which is probably fake. We know where our so-called friends went last night. We know what they had for lunch today and what they or their kids wore to school. We consume so much information that it's filled our own capacity for thinking up to the brim. And when you find yourself checking your phone too often, it's probably because you can't stand or rest in your own thoughts for even a few seconds. Constantly looking to consume or be entertained, we're turning our attention towards endless info consumption and turning our backs on a healthy mind. Bottom line, your brain might be full and it's your social network's fault. So what would happen if you put the phone down? What if you deleted some of the apps on your device? What if you put a little bit more focus into living your life and not everyone else's? If you're old enough, you may remember the drug LSD. LSD addicts experienced a slightly altered reality. It altered the user's perception of time and it could deliver heightened spiritual experiences. It provided a mind-expanding escape, albeit a very dangerous and illegal one. Ironically, history shows a drastic decline in LSD usage coming about in the mid-2000s. Perhaps a coincidence, but who needs LSD when we have a never-ending supply of LED? It's a much easier transaction, no doubt. We pay with our time and attention and not our money. Chances are good LED isn't going to kill you unless you're driving. But unfortunately, LED is legal. I mean, surely it's a much better drug. And know this, your LED, your screen, your social network, they are drugs. Social networks medicate us. They temporarily soothe the negative symptoms in life while never addressing the root cause below the surface. Multiple studies have proven it to be addicting. We feel the high frequency need to check it, consume it, exhaust it, and sometimes just to make sure we haven't missed anything. And the beeps and dings of new updates and notifications actually trigger the release of dopamine in our brains. Now, if that doesn't sound like a drug, I don't know what does. The average American spends 58 minutes per day trolling the social network. That's 379 hours per year, of which, conservatively speaking, is 95% worthless. But wait for it. That's just Facebook. Those numbers aren't even considering the rest of social media like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, or Pinterest. Include those and the daily average jumps to 136 minutes per day. That's just over 2 hours a day, or 34 days per year, or 1 full month worth of time each year flushed down the LED toilet. An entire month. Now, the business side of me likes to analyze things in terms of ROI, return on investment. If an hour spent in one area is 95% waste, and then it costs us 1 hour to return a measly 3 minutes of positive time value. If we could record this line item on our life's profit and loss statement, we would easily conclude to spend time somewhere more valuable. Spending an hour to get 3 minutes of positive value back just doesn't make sense. What if you tried to place a value on what you might miss if you only check social media for 5 minutes a day? Think of the benefits. You wouldn't be absorbing gigabytes of worthless data. You'd put a huge dent in how much you compare your life to others, and concretely, you would gain back over 2 hours per day in time, or better, an entire month every year. You ever feel busy and not know why? Or feel like there's just not enough time? Maybe the day flies by and you aren't getting done all that you planned. Well, it could be that you are quite literally flushing 2 hours per day down the social networking toilet, or more. That's absolutely the case if you're the average person. The reality is, you're awake for around 16 hours a day. Let's say you work or in school for 8 of them. You still have 8 more awake hours every day. So instead of saying, I don't have time, or I ran out of time, just quietly say to yourself, or out loud if need be, I have time, I just didn't manage my time well. And don't beat yourself up. A lot of people are terrible at time management. That doesn't necessarily make it okay, but it does mean that you can get better. Instead of comparing yourself to others, which apparently is all the rage these days, maybe just compare yourself to who you were yesterday or last year. That's the only comparison I recommend you consider. I think if you give it just a tiny bit of thought, you know which social networks are sucking the social right out of you, sucking the life right out of you. What if you did something about it? Social networks aren't nearly as social as they sound. They're selling your eyeballs to advertisers and they're numbing your mind. They're creating artificial demand and increasing the thought of comparison. They are, and please don't miss this, influencing you. Shouldn't we all be a bit more careful as to who or what we allow to influence us? But even worse than that, they have a proven link to depression and anxiety. And studies show they trigger the release of dopamine. Your social network is a drug, period. But hey, coffee is a drug, alcohol is a drug, Pepto-Bismol is a drug. And what do we do with approved legal drugs? We mandate them. Oh, come on! I'm kidding. We moderate them. We keep their levels inside a healthy range. If you think it's healthy to consume 2 hours a day of social media, then let me guess, you also think it's fine to drink 5 cups of coffee in the morning and a bottle of vodka at night. Newsflash, that's not moderation. That will kill you, literally. Well, overuse of social media will kill you too, very quietly, from the inside out, slowly but surely. But you don't have to let it come to that. You can be smart. You can increase self-control. You can improve. Treat it like the drug that it is. Moderation. You can do it, and you'll be better because of it. Hey, thanks for watching. If I said anything that resonated with you, hit that like, subscribe, and ring that bell for me. Take care, y'all.